The graduation hall pulsed with life. Balloons in silver and gold bounced against the ceiling, while music filled every corner of the massive space. Families clustered together, cameras flashing as they captured their graduates in caps and gowns. The dance floor was packed with bodies moving to the rhythm, laughter echoing off the walls like a symphony of celebration. Marcus Reed stood near the refreshment table, watching his daughter Lily demolish a cupcake with the efficiency of someone who'd been planning this attack for hours. At 5 years old, she approached desserts with military precision. Chocolate frosting covered her chin, and her pink princess dress, the one she'd insisted on wearing despite it being completely impractical, already had stains that would probably never come out. Marcus smiled despite himself. This wasn't how he'd planned to spend his Saturday evening. His supervisor, Mr. Thompson, had invited him to his nephew's graduation ceremony as a gesture of appreciation. After everything Thompson had done for Marcus over the past 4 years, the flexible hours, the understanding when Lily got sick, the promotion that came at exactly the right time, refusing wasn't an option. But as Marcus scanned the crowded room, his attention snagged on something that made his chest tighten. A young woman sat alone at a table positioned at the room's edge, far from the dancing and celebration. She wore a graduation gown over her wheelchair, and there was something about the way she held herself that struck Marcus like a physical blow. She was smiling, but it was the kind of smile people wore when they were trying very hard to convince themselves they were fine. Her eyes tracked the dancers with an expression Marcus recognized too well, longing mixed with resignation. The look of someone who'd grown accustomed to watching life happen to other people. Around her, the celebration continued without pause. Groups of graduates swept past her table, caught up in their own joy. One young man waved enthusiastically as he passed, and she waved back with energy that seemed to cost her something. Then he was gone, swallowed back into the crowd, and she was alone again. "Daddy?" Lily's voice cut through his thoughts. She'd finished her cupcake and was now staring at the woman with the unfiltered curiosity only children possessed. "Why is that lady sitting by herself? Everyone else is having fun and dancing. Why isn't she?" Marcus followed his daughter's gaze. "I'm not sure, sweetheart. That's sad." Lily pronounced it with absolute certainty, the way children did when something violated their sense of fairness. Nobody should be sad at their own party. That's just wrong. She was right. Something about the scene felt fundamentally wrong. This woman celebrating one of life's major achievements while surrounded by people, yet completely isolated. Marcus had come to this graduation as an obligation, planning to stay an hour before heading home to the quiet apartment where he and Lily had built their small life together. But now, watching this stranger sit alone at what should be her moment of triumph, something shifted inside him. "Come on," he said, taking Lily's hand. "Let's go say hello." "Where are we going?" Lily asked, her eyes lighting up with interest. "To fix something." They crossed the room, weaving between dancing couples and chatting groups. With each step, Marcus's heartbeat accelerated. This was insane. You didn't just approach strangers at their graduation. You didn't interrupt someone's private moment with what? Pity? Misguided good intentions that might make everything worse? But Lily's small hand in his kept him moving forward, and the memory of that lonely smile pulled him closer like gravity. The woman looked up as they approached, surprise flickering across her face. Up close, Marcus could see she was probably in her mid-20s. Her eyes were dark brown, bright with emotion she was clearly working to contain. A name tag pinned to her gown read, "Zara Mitchell, Bachelor of Science in Psychology." "Hi," Marcus said, suddenly feeling awkward under her confused gaze. "My name is Marcus Reed, and this is my daughter, Lily. We're here with my supervisor. His nephew graduated today. We noticed you were sitting alone, and..." He trailed off, realizing he had no idea how to finish that sentence. "That's very kind," Zara said carefully, her voice guarded. "But I'm fine, really. Just taking a break from all the excitement." "That's not true," Lily announced with the blunt honesty only a 5-year-old could deliver. She pulled her hand free from Marcus's and stepped closer to Zara's wheelchair, her face set with determination. "You look sad. And this is your special day for finishing school. So you're not supposed to be sad." Zara's eyes widened. For a moment, Marcus thought she might cry. Then her carefully constructed mask cracked, and a genuine smile broke through. Surprised, touched, disarmed by the child's directness. "You're very observant for someone so little," Zara said softly. "I'm almost 6, Lily corrected proudly. "That's basically grown up." Despite everything, Zara laughed. It was a real laugh, unguarded and bright, that transformed her entire face, made her look younger, less burdened. Marcus took a deep breath, committing to what he'd started. His palms were sweating. This could backfire spectacularly. But the image of that lonely smile, the way she'd watched everyone else celebrate while she remained on the sidelines, pushed him forward. "Here's the thing," he said. "I know we're complete strangers, and this might be completely inappropriate, but would you let me have this dance?" The smile died on Zara's face. Silence stretched between them, broken only by the bass-heavy music. Zara's hands tightened in her lap, her knuckles turning white. When she finally spoke, her voice barely rose above a whisper. I can't dance. I mean, obviously I can't." She gestured to her wheelchair, and there was something devastating in that gesture, the resignation of someone who'd explained this limitation countless times. "Why not?" Lily piped up, genuinely confused. "You have arms. Arms can dance too. Watch." She proceeded to demonstrate an elaborate arm-waving dance that looked like someone directing airplanes during a thunderstorm, her light-up sneakers flashing with every movement. Zara laughed again, but this time tears spilled over, sliding down her cheeks. She wiped them away quickly, embarrassed. "I haven't danced since before my accident. 10 years. I don't even know if I remember how. 10 years." Marcus tried to imagine it. A decade of sitting on the sidelines, of watching everyone else move while you stayed still. A decade of being excluded from something as simple and joyful as dancing. He crouched down so he was at her eye level. "Neither have I. I haven't danced since my wife died 4 years ago." The words escaped before he could stop them. He never talked about Rachel with strangers. Never mentioned the gaping hole her death had carved into his life, the way grief had rewritten everything he thought he understood about being human. But something about Zara's raw vulnerability demanded honesty in return. "But I think," he continued, "that's exactly why we should. Because we both deserve to be part of the celebration." "Your celebration." He held out his hand. Zara stared at it. Marcus could see the war happening in her eyes. Fear battling hope, years of disappointment fighting against the desperate desire to be included. Her hands trembled in her lap. "How would it even work?" she whispered. "I'll hold your hands," Marcus said simply, "and we'll move to the music. That's all dancing really is. Moving together." Around them, the celebration continued, oblivious to this small moment of tension and possibility. The music shifted to something upbeat and cheerful. Very slowly, as if the movement might shatter something precious, Zara reached out and placed her hands in Marcus's. They were shaking. Her whole body was shaking. Marcus stood, gently pulling her hands up with him, and began to sway to the beat. It felt absurd at first, awkward and exposed. They must have looked ridiculous, him standing there holding her hands while she sat in her wheelchair. But then he caught Zara's eyes and held them. They moved together, swaying to the rhythm. Marcus lifted their joined hands up and down, side to side, following the music. Zara's breathing was quick and shallow, but slowly, as seconds stretched into a minute, something shifted in her expression. The fear eased. The tension in her shoulders relaxed. And there, breaking through like sunlight after a storm, was joy. Real, unguarded joy. "This is crazy," Zara said, but she was smiling through her tears. The best things usually are, Marcus replied. Lily danced circles around them, her dress spinning, her light-up shoes flashing with every enthusiastic step. See, I told you arms can dance. I'm always right about dancing. The song filled the space between them. Not a slow dance, not a traditional dance, but something entirely their own. Something born from courage and compassion. A few people at nearby tables noticed. Marcus saw them point and smile. One couple got up to join the dance floor, as if witnessing this moment had reminded them why they were here. A group of graduates moved closer. One of them, a young woman with curly red hair, called out, "Yes, Zara, you look amazing." Zara beamed, genuinely this time, and called back, "Thank you." The song changed to something slower, gentler. Marcus adjusted their movements, swaying more softly. Zara's hands had stopped shaking. She was looking at him with an expression he couldn't quite read. Gratitude mixed with something deeper. Something that looked like the first crack in a wall built over years of disappointment. "Thank you," she said quietly, her voice thick with emotion. "You have no idea what this means. I've spent 10 years watching everyone else live while I just existed on the edges. I forgot what it felt like to be part of things." Marcus thought about the past 4 years of his own life. The exhaustion that went bone deep. The constant fear that he was failing his daughter. The loneliness that had become so familiar he sometimes forgot it was there. "You shouldn't be on the edges," he said. "Not today. Not ever. You just earned a college degree. You should be right in the center of this celebration." When the song ended, Marcus carefully released her hands. Zara wiped at her eyes, laughing at herself. "I probably look like a mess." "You look like someone who just graduated college and danced for the first time in 10 years, Marcus said. "That's pretty incredible. Can we get more cookies now?" Lily asked, always practical, tugging on Marcus's sleeve. "Because dancing makes you hungry, and I only had 1 cupcake, and that's not enough." Zara laughed, the sound lighter than before, less weighted with sorrow. "That's solid logic." Marcus smiled and started to turn away. They'd done what they came to do, pulled someone out of isolation for a few minutes. It was enough. It had to be enough. Strangers at a graduation didn't become anything more than a gesture and a brief memory. "Wait!" Zara's voice stopped him mid-step. When he turned back, she was pulling her phone from a small bag attached to her wheelchair. Her cheeks flushed pink. Could I maybe get your number? I'd like to thank you properly. Maybe buy you coffee or something." Marcus stared at her, surprised. Lily immediately grabbed his hand and yanked on it. "Say yes, Daddy. Miss Zara seems nice. And you need friends because you're always working and being boring." "You don't need to thank me," Marcus said to Zara, ignoring his daughter's brutally honest assessment of his social life. "I know," Zara said quickly, "but I'd like to anyway. And honestly, I could use a friend who understands what it's like to feel like you're on the outside looking in." Marcus understood that feeling more than she knew. The years since Rachel's death had been a masterclass in existing on the margins. At school events where everyone else came in couples, at birthday parties where he was the only single parent, in a world designed for pairs when he was painfully, permanently singular. He pulled out his phone and gave her his number. 3 days later, his phone buzzed while he was installing new lighting at a construction site. "Coffee this weekend? My treat. Fair warning. I'm very particular about coffee quality. Zara." Marcus stared at the message, a smile tugging at his lips despite himself. "Sounds good. Also, fair warning. My daughter will probably insist on coming. She's very particular about making sure you're not still sad." "Marcus." The response came almost immediately. "Perfect. She can be my happiness inspector. Saturday at 10 a.m. There's a cafe on Riverside Drive with good accessibility. See you then." Saturday morning arrived with Lily bouncing off the walls with excitement. She'd picked out her outfit the night before. A purple sweater and her favorite jeans with the sparkly patches. Is Miss Zara going to be our friend forever? Lily asked in the car, swinging her legs so hard her sneakers kicked the back of Marcus's seat. I don't know, sweetheart. We're just getting coffee. But she's nice, right? And she likes you. We barely know each other. But you danced with her. That means something. You said that about Mom too. That dancing was special. Marcus's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Lily had been only 1 year old when Rachel died. She didn't remember her mother. Everything she knew about Rachel came from photos and Marcus's carefully curated stories. Memories designed to give Lily a sense of connection to the woman who'd loved her fiercely despite knowing their time together would be heartbreakingly short. What Marcus rarely told Lily was how Rachel had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer when Lily was 6 months old. How they'd had less than 6 months together as a family. How Rachel had made him promise to find happiness again, to not let grief consume him, to give Lily a full life even if she couldn't be part of it. Yeah, Marcus said quietly, pushing the memories back where they belonged. Dancing does mean something. The cafe was exactly as Zara had described. Accessible, cozy, with large windows letting in natural light and the rich smell of fresh coffee. Zara was already there when they arrived, sitting at a corner table with a mug in front of her. She wore jeans and a soft gray sweater that made her dark eyes look even warmer. Miss Zara. Lily ran over before Marcus could stop her, nearly knocking into a chair in her enthusiasm. We're here for coffee. Well, I'm getting hot chocolate because coffee tastes like dirt, but Daddy says that's basically the same thing. Zara laughed, catching Lily's enthusiasm. Hot chocolate is definitely basically coffee. Maybe even better. They ordered coffee for the adults, hot chocolate with extra whipped cream for Lily, and settled in. What Marcus thought might be an awkward 30 minutes of polite conversation turned into something entirely different. So, Zara said, wrapping her hands around her mug, tell me about you. Not the sad stuff yet, we can get to that. Tell me something that makes you happy. Marcus thought for a moment. Lily's laugh. The real one, not the polite one she does for other people. When something genuinely delights her, she has this full-body laugh that sounds like pure joy. Like when I saw the really fat cat at our building. Lily interjected. He was so fat, Daddy. Like he ate a whole turkey. Zara grinned. That does sound like a very fat cat. What else makes you happy, Marcus? Finishing a difficult electrical job and having everything work perfectly on the first try. That moment when the lights come on and you know you got it right. He paused. What about you? Honestly, children. That's why I went into psychology. I want to work with kids. Kids don't have the filters adults develop. They don't carry prejudices they've learned yet. They just see people. She took a sip of her coffee. When I do my practicum hours at the elementary school, kids ask about my wheelchair once. Usually something like, why do you have wheels? And then they move on. To them, it's just another fact about me, like having brown eyes or wearing glasses. Her expression darkened slightly. Adults are different. Adults either avoid looking at me entirely, or they stare. They talk to whoever I'm with instead of talking to me directly. They assume things about my mental capacity. Or they go the other direction and treat me like I'm inspirational just for existing, just for getting groceries or going to class. That sounds exhausting, Marcus said. It is. Some days more than others. Zara's expression softened. But then someone like you comes along and asks me to dance. And it reminds me that not everyone is afraid of stepping outside their comfort zone. Lily had finished her hot chocolate and was now coloring on a placemat the cafe had provided. Marcus and Zara fell into easier conversation. Books they'd read, shows they'd watched, places they'd lived. Marcus learned that Zara had grown up in Seattle, that she missed the mountains sometimes but had fallen in love with the Midwest's changing seasons. Zara learned that Marcus had lived in this city his whole life, that his own mother had raised him as a single parent after his father walked out when Marcus was 8. Is that why you're so good at it? Zara asked. Because you watched your mom do it? Maybe, Marcus admitted. She taught me that loving your kid means showing up. Even when you're exhausted, even when you don't know what you're doing, you just keep showing up. You're a good dad, Zara said quietly. Lily's lucky to have you. The words hit deeper than Marcus expected. He was so used to feeling like he was failing. Forgetting permission slips, sending Lily to school with mismatched socks, surviving on frozen dinners and takeout more nights than he cared to admit. Thank you, he said. That means a lot. For hours evaporated like minutes. When they finally left the cafe, Lily was half asleep on Marcus's shoulder, exhausted from her sugar high and the excitement of the morning. Can we do this again? Zara asked as they stood by her van, a modified vehicle with hand controls that she'd explained cost more than most people's first cars. I'd like that, Marcus said. Maybe next time, just the two of us? My mom can watch Lily. Zara's eyes widened slightly. Like a date. Yeah, Marcus said, feeling his courage catch up with his words. Like a date. A slow smile spread across Zara's face. I'd really like that. Their first real date was the following Friday. Marcus was nervous in a way he hadn't been since high school. Changing his shirt 3 times, checking his hair in every reflective surface, arriving at the restaurant 15 minutes early and sitting in his truck giving himself a pep talk. The restaurant was Zara's choice. A Thai place downtown with good accessibility and, according to Zara, the best pad Thai you'll ever have. Marcus waited by the entrance, watching couples filter in and out, wondering if this was crazy. They barely knew each other. Zara probably just felt obligated because he'd been nice to her at graduation. Then he saw her rolling up the sidewalk, and all his doubts evaporated. She wore a deep blue dress that brought out the warmth in her dark hair. When she spotted him, her whole face lit up. Genuine happiness that erased the careful guardedness he'd seen at graduation. Hi, she said, slightly breathless. Hi, Marcus replied, suddenly feeling underdressed in his khakis and buttoned down. You look beautiful. You clean up pretty nice yourself. Inside, the hostess led them to a table near the back, quieter, more intimate than the bustling front section. They ordered wine, then food, and as plates of curry and noodles arrived, they fell into the kind of conversation that made the rest of the restaurant fade away. Zara told him about her accident in more detail. The hiking trip with friends, the moment of impact that changed everything. I fell about 30 feet, she said, twirling noodles on her fork. Hit a rock ledge on the way down. I knew immediately something was catastrophically wrong. I couldn't feel my legs, couldn't move them. I remember thinking very clearly, this is how my life ends. But it didn't end. No, it just became completely different. Zara took a sip of wine. The first year was the hardest. Learning to live in a body that didn't work the way it used to. Relearning everything, how to get dressed, how to shower, how to exist in a world that wasn't built for wheelchairs. And grieving the life I thought I'd have. She looked up at him. But you understand that, don't you? Having to grieve a future you thought was certain. Marcus nodded slowly. When Rachel died, it wasn't just losing her. It was losing everything we'd planned, the life we were supposed to build, the family we were supposed to raise together. Suddenly I was alone with a toddler, and every single thing I'd imagined about parenthood was different. Do you ever resent it? Zara asked quietly. Not Lily, I know you love her, but the situation, being forced into single parenthood. Sometimes, Marcus admitted, it was the first time he'd said it out loud. Sometimes I'm angry that Rachel left me to do this alone, which is irrational because she didn't choose to die. But grief isn't rational. Sometimes I see couples at Lily's school and I feel this surge of resentment that they get to share the load, that they have someone to tag out with when they're exhausted. He paused, pushing food around his plate. But then I look at Lily and I think, if I could go back and choose a different life, one where Rachel lived but Lily didn't exist exactly as she is now, I wouldn't trade her for anything. She's funny and kind and sees the world in this beautiful, uncomplicated way. That's love, Zara said softly. Real love. Not the easy kind, but the kind that chooses to stay even when it's hard. The conversation shifted to lighter things. Lily's recent obsession with dinosaurs, Zara's ongoing battle with student loans, their shared love of terrible reality TV shows they'd never admit to watching in public. Somewhere between dinner and dessert, Zara reached across the table and took Marcus's hand. He looked down at their joined hands, her fingers smaller than his, her grip surprisingly strong. "Thank you for this," she said. "For seeing me. Not the wheelchair, not the disability. Me. Thank you for giving me a reason to put on real pants instead of spending Friday night watching Frozen princess movies for the 100th time," Marcus replied. Zara laughed. When they left the restaurant, Marcus walked Zara to her van. The night air was cool, carrying the scent of late summer from nearby trees. They lingered by the driver's side door, neither quite ready for the evening to end. "I had a really good time," Zara said. "Me too. Can I be honest about something? Please." Zara took a breath. "I'm scared. I really like you, Marcus, but I'm terrified that at some point you're going to realize that being with me is too complicated. That the logistics of dating someone with a disability are too much work. That you'll meet someone easier and realize you don't need the complications I bring." Marcus crouched down so they were eye to eye, the same position he'd taken at graduation. "Can I be honest too?" She nodded. "I'm scared too. I'm scared that I'm too broken, too damaged by grief to be a good partner. I'm scared that Lily will scare you off because dating a single dad means you don't just get me. You get my daughter too. I'm scared that I'll fail you the way I sometimes feel like I failed Rachel by not being enough to keep her here." He took her hands. "But here's what I know. I haven't felt this alive, this hopeful in 4 years. You make me want to be braver. You make me think maybe I get to have more than just survival. So yeah, I'm scared, but I want to try anyway." Zara's eyes were shining with tears. "Okay, let's be scared together." Marcus kissed her then, soft and certain under the streetlights. When they pulled apart, both of them were smiling. One coffee date became 2, then 3 proper dates. They went to a botanical garden where Lily could run through paths while Marcus and Zara talked. They went to an accessible nature trail that wound through woods painted with autumn colors. Zara came to Lily's kindergarten play and cheered louder than anyone when Lily forgot her lines and started talking about dinosaurs instead. Summer faded into fall. Zara started her job as a school counselor, coming home with stories about kids that made Marcus laugh until his sides hurt. Marcus's work stayed demanding, but Zara began joining them for dinner several nights a week, showing up with groceries and determination to teach Marcus how to cook something more adventurous than spaghetti. "Miss Zara, do you like my daddy?" Lily asked one afternoon at the playground, her directness catching both adults off guard. They'd been sitting on a bench watching her swing when she hopped down and marched over with purpose. "Because I think he likes you. He smiles all funny when you text him." Zara's cheeks flushed pink. "I like your daddy very much." "Good," Lily said seriously. "Because he needs someone to make him less lonely, and you need someone too. So it's perfect." After Lily ran back to the swings, Zara turned to Marcus. "Does she always solve complex, emotional situations with such clarity?" "Pretty much," Marcus said. "She gets it from her mother. Rachel was an engineer. Everything in life could be solved with logic and numbers. Smart woman." "Yeah, she was." They sat in comfortable silence, watching Lily play. Marcus realized this was what he'd been missing. Not just romance, but partnership. Someone to share the small moments with, the ordinary afternoons that made up most of life. Zara didn't just tolerate Lily. She genuinely enjoyed her, engaged with her imagination, treated her like a whole person with valid thoughts and feelings. One October evening, they were sitting on a bench outside their usual ice cream shop, watching Lily chase falling leaves with single-minded determination. The setting sun painted everything gold and orange. Marcus's heart was pounding. He'd been thinking about this for weeks, the words building pressure in his chest until he thought he might burst. "I love you," he said. The words hung in the air between them. Zara turned to him slowly, her eyes wide. "What?" "I love you," Marcus repeated, his voice steadier now. "I'm terrified and I don't know what I'm doing, but I needed you to know. I love the way you listen to Lily like her stories matter. I love how you don't let the world make you smaller. I love your strength and your vulnerability and the way you challenge me to be better. I love you, Zara. And I'm scared out of my mind, but I'm more scared of not telling you." Tears slipped down Zara's cheeks. For a long moment, Marcus's stomach dropped. He'd miscalculated. She didn't feel the same way. He'd ruined everything. Then Zara reached out and took his hand. "I love you too. I've been in love with you since that second coffee date when you noticed I was struggling to reach something on a high shelf and you didn't make a big deal about it. Just quietly got it for me. When you treated my wheelchair like a fact, not a tragedy. When you saw me as a whole person, not a problem to solve." She squeezed his hand tighter. "I'm terrified too. I'm scared you'll wake up one day and realize being with someone like me is too hard, too complicated. I'm scared I can't be what Lily needs. I'm scared of failing you both." "You could never fail us," Marcus said fiercely. "You're already part of our lives. Lily adores you. And he swallowed hard. "I thought I'd never feel this way again. After Rachel died, I thought that part of my life was over. That I'd had my chance at love and lost it and I just had to focus on being the best father I could be. And you are. You're an incredible father. But you don't have to be just a father. You can be my partner too. We can build a life together." Zara was fully crying now. Maybe being scared together is better than being lonely apart. "Yeah," Marcus said softly. "Maybe it is." He leaned in and kissed her, gentle and certain. Lily's delighted squeal broke them apart. She'd apparently been watching the whole time. "I knew it," Lily shouted, running toward them with her arms spread wide. "I told you it was perfect. Now can we get a puppy?" Marcus and Zara laughed, pulling Lily into a hug between them. This small, fierce girl who'd noticed what no one else could see, who'd demanded that loneliness not be allowed to win, who'd somehow known exactly what all three of them needed. If you'd asked Marcus Reed what he imagined when he thought about proposing to someone, he wouldn't have pictured doing it in a hospital waiting room at 2 in the morning. But life had taught him that the best moments rarely looked the way you planned. Zara had been in a minor car accident. Someone ran a red light and hit her accessible van. She was fine mostly, bruised, shaken up, but alive. Marcus had gotten the call while reading Lily a bedtime story and had immediately called his mother to come stay with her while he rushed to the hospital. He'd found Zara in the emergency room, exhausted and in pain but trying to be brave. They'd kept her for observation, and Marcus had refused to leave. Somewhere around 2 a.m., after Zara had finally fallen into restless sleep, Marcus had gone to the vending machines for terrible coffee. That's where it hit him, sitting alone under fluorescent lights with a styrofoam cup warming his hands. Life was fragile. Love was fragile. Every moment was borrowed time, and he was done being afraid. He went to the hospital gift shop. Closed, but he sweet-talked a security guard into letting him look around, and found a delicate silver bracelet with a small heart charm. When Zara woke up a few hours later, Marcus was sitting beside her bed, the bracelet in his hand. "Marry me," he said without preamble. Zara blinked, confused and probably still medicated. "What?" "Marry me," Marcus repeated. "I don't have a ring. I have this bracelet that costs $25 from the hospital gift shop, but I'm asking anyway, because tonight reminded me that nothing is guaranteed, and I don't want to waste another day being too scared to ask for what I want. I want you. I want us. I want to build a life where Lily grows up with both of us, where we face everything together." He held up the bracelet. "A heart. Because you helped me remember mine still works. You helped me remember that I'm allowed to want more than just survival." Zara was crying, but she was smiling too. "You're proposing to me in a hospital?" I'm proposing to you in a hospital. Is that okay? It's perfect, Zara whispered. Yes, yes, I'll marry you. Marcus put the bracelet around her wrist with shaking hands, then kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. Outside, dawn was breaking, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. They got married the following spring in the same university banquet hall where they'd first met. Lily was the flower girl, wearing a dress with butterflies because some things were meant to come full circle. Marcus's mother cried through the entire ceremony. Mr. Thompson was there, beaming with pride, telling anyone who would listen that he'd known from the start these two were meant for each other. Zara's family had flown in from Seattle, her younger brother serving as her attendant. But the moment that mattered most was the first dance. The DJ played their song, the same upbeat pop track that had been playing at the graduation reception almost 2 years earlier. Marcus walked to where Zara sat in her wheelchair, beautiful in her white dress, her dark hair crowned with small flowers. He held out his hands. Zara placed hers in his, and they moved together exactly like they had that first time. Swaying to the music, their hands raised and lowered side to side. But this time there was no fear, no uncertainty. Just two people who'd found each other in a moment of loneliness and had chosen, again and again, to keep choosing each other. Lily danced circles around them, her butterfly dress spinning, her light-up shoes flashing. The whole room was watching now, but Marcus barely noticed. His entire world had narrowed to the woman in front of him, the joy radiating from her face, the future stretching out before them like an open road. "I love you," Zara said, her voice carrying over the music. "I love you too," Marcus replied. "Thank you for saying yes to that dance. Thank you for asking." The song played on, and they kept moving, proving once again that the best dances don't require perfect steps or traditional forms. They just require two people brave enough to reach for each other, to refuse loneliness, to believe that love is worth the risk. And sometimes they require a 5-year-old girl with a big heart and even bigger opinions who understood something adults often forget. Nobody should ever have to celebrate alone. Everyone deserves to be seen, to be included, to be loved exactly as they are. The dance ended. The celebration continued. And 3 lives that had been marked by loss and isolation became something new together. A family built not on perfection, but on courage, compassion, and the radical act of noticing when someone needs you most.